Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 7 of Lorcanarama. I'm your host, Kelsey, and with me is... Come on, Sabrina. I gave you the lead in.
Oh, Sabrina.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, as you can tell, we worked that out ahead of time. So, yeah. So welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. It's been an eventful week this week. If you didn't have your head under a rock, you probably seen some leaks that came out. You've probably heard some news about the World Championship. PPG has an event scheduled. And so we're going to talk a lot about that. And we're going to talk about some other things too. So I've asked Sabrina tonight if I could kind of go on a rant, and so that's what I'm going to do for the first 10 minutes. Basically, is kind of go on a rant about the events of this last week, specifically. Just kind of do a quick recap, but hopefully create some perspective for folks, because I know there's a lot of opinions about this last week. So I'm going to fire it off, and I'm going to switch to solo mode for this. That way you don't have to look at Sabrina looking awkwardly at the camera, acting like she's paying attention and agreeing with me. So I'm pretty sure she'll have some takes when this is all said and done. So,
always.
Yeah, as always, right? So in case you missed it this last week, there were some leaks coming out. We don't know who did it. We say leaks because supposedly it weren't supposed to come out. And the leaks contain information that looks more or less like they're part of the announcement that Ravensburger has scheduled for this coming Tuesday. Part of the leaks, and the only part that I really want to talk about in there, was that the date for the World Championship was revealed sometime around June 28th, 29th. Going off the top of my head, if that date's wrong, just go look for yourself. And if you were like me, when you saw that date leaked, you probably ran and started looking for hotels because this is the thing that I know I have been looking forward to ever since I got involved in the Lorcana community. I have a goal personally. I wanted to be a judge at the World Championship, and I still may be. I don't know. And based on how the DLCs had been set up prior to this point and information that Ravensburger had given us and how nationals went, I, like every other person, probably had every expectation that we would be attending this event in the hot Florida sun sometime this summertime. So after this information was leaked, and many of us ran to our computers to schedule those hotel rooms, Ravensburger made an emergency announcement. They did a stream on their Twitch channel for about 10 minutes, and which was kind of funny to watch because they experienced the same problems that I did in my first 2 episodes of doing this stream with some technical difficulties and things like that. So during that announcement, they talked about the leaks that came out, and while they were somewhat disappointed, they didn't let it dampen their spirits. But the big thing that they came online for was they wanted everybody to know that the World Championships in June would be open only to the competitors that made it to the World Championship. In other words, it's closed to the rest of us. And I have to say I was disappointed, as were many other people. And that's to be expected because we had some expectations and some hopes that we would be able to go to the World Championship. Now, they are planning, it seems that they're going to stream it so that we can watch it. And I have no doubt it'll be an incredible display of gamesmanship, not in a bad way, but, of talent and, just skill in the Lorcana game, because there's some good players that are already scheduled to be there for that. But what I want to talk about specifically regarding that announcement was the community reaction to it. The reactions online varied. They ranged from anger and disappointment to empathy and understanding. And there's nothing wrong with those reactions. Those are natural reactions when we get news that sometimes we don't like. But some of the reactions, I think, went just a tad bit too far, attacking people they didn't need to attack, blaming folks that really shouldn't have blame put on them. And so I want to take a moment to kind of just have Kelsey's life lessons with you right now. Uh, Anger is a strange thing. We all deal with it to some extent, but a lot of us times we don't know what causes it. Anger essentially is we have a set of values inside of us, and those values aren't met, or we don't get what we want. Now, that sounds like a little kid, right? But if you look at anger at its root, anger is we don't get what we want. What do we want? Well, we wanted to go to world championships. We're not going to get it. So some folks reacted out of anger. Natural reaction. Whether justified or unjustified, natural reaction. Disappointment is like anger in that whereas anger is more based on internal values, disappointment comes from the fact that we put external value on something and then that value is not met. They're very close. That's why sometimes you hear anger and disappointment held on together. One deals with internal values, one deals with external value. And anger and disappointment are natural reactions whenever we have hopes that aren't met. But what's not okay is what you do, the actions that you take based on those feelings. Sometimes not okay. To attack people, specifically, I've seen some posts attacking Ravensburger. I've seen some posts attacking tournament organizer, even blaming content creators because they didn't hold Ravensburger to some level of accountability that we're somehow supposed to as content creators. So who's to blame for the anger that we feel? Who's to blame for the disappointment that we feel? Well, it's not Ravensburger, believe it or not. It's not Disney. It's not their fault. It's not the tournament organizers. It's not content creators. In fact, I think what you need to do is we need to look inside. You see, we experience anger because we don't get what we want. We experience disappointment because we put our hope in something and it disappointed us and it was not fulfilled. So my challenge is change the way you look at things. Don't blame people. You know, Ravensburger, do you think they wanted to have this world championship? Absolutely. They knew how much it meant to us and to their gamers community. But for some reason, they just couldn't pull it off. We don't know why. They couldn't pull it off. Is Disney to blame? Should we get angry with Disney? I don't know. What good is it going to do to get, if they're at fault for it, if they're the ones that made it so that we couldn't get what we wanted, what's it going to do getting mad at them? You know, nothing really. You know, tournament organizers like PPG, I doubt that they had anything to do with it. No point in blaming them. Besides, we don't have all the information, you know. And so my challenge to you is this. And we are responsible for the life of this game. We, the community. Ravensburger created the game, but we created the community. Events mean nothing without the community to back them. So while you're missing an event, let me challenge you to maybe take up the mantle locally and build your community locally and progress it towards these events. There are plenty of events now in the absence of these this World Championship and being able to attend it that have popped up. PPG events has scheduled one in Fort Worth for July 4th weekend. They also have another one in Atlanta at MomoCon. There are others that pop up all around the place. You can go to the Forbidden Mountains Discord channel and you can see tournaments popping up all over. The point being is we're responsible for us and nobody else. And we should take responsibility for us. Instead of blaming, instead of griping, go out and I would challenge you to find one thing that you want to improve about your local community and work with those others in the community to improve it and to implement it. And I say work with others because sometimes our ideals are bad ideals and you need others to kind of vet them on. You don't want to go like a bull in a china shop and, tearing everything up. But let me challenge you to build your community. And if you're content with your local game store, reach out to other local game stores in the area and start building that network. And you'll hear us talk a lot about that in the upcoming podcast, as we talk about how we're doing that here locally in our community. And I'm sure Sabrina is doing it in her community. And so I would just like to challenge you. You don't change your values unless your values are out of whack. And that's very dangerous. You got to be careful with that. You want to stick to your core values. But if your values aren't met and you get angry about it, just remember that the actions you take, you only have yourself to blame because you set up a set of expectations for those values that you had, and so you can't change the people sometimes that are meeting them, but you can change the way you act and you react. And so, you know, this game is a wonderful game and we have a wonderful community. And so rather than trash the community, I would challenge you to get back to it. I would challenge you to just take this mantle and run with it because you can be responsible for that part of it. So that's all I wanted to say. I thank you for this rant. Sabrina, I want to thank you for allowing me to have that moment. I got it off my chest. I'm good. So I'm going to come down now. Whoo, here we go. So about that, go ahead. So for those of you really who missed that event, you missed that announcement. Worlds is sometime around June 28th, 29th. You know,
got it perfect. It's the 28th and the 29th. You hit the nail on the head.
Okay, good. And I'm sure you were disappointed when you heard it. You know, and I'm sure there were others that were disappointed. We all had plans to go there, and really, I think after Anaheim, I had created a set of expectations like this thing's going to be amazing because I saw how cool Anaheim was. And then you hear a lot of people saying, if I didn't know they were going to have it, I'd have gone to Anaheim. We should have went to Anaheim anyways because it was fun.
You shouldn't let your future hopes and expectations stop you from doing something today.
Ooh, look at that. So, you know what?
I think that's a lesson that I've had to learn more so in the past few months.
Yeah, I can imagine so with everything you guys have gone through.
Yeah, like you don't know what tomorrow brings.
Right.
So, you know, we can hope that the next event is going to be open and this and that and the other thing, but if you know that this one is, go to this one. You know, do that. I will say there was an element of the announcement that I was actually happy about, and that was that it was before the PPG event.
Yeah.
Because when they released the PPG event being on the 4th of July, my brain went, great, so we're not getting Worlds till August.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so to find out that it's actually the end of June, though a month and a half earlier, is a lot. You know, that means that maybe we do get a DLC in late August, early September.
Yeah. My hat's off to PPG events. You know, they, you know, their announcement came out before anything else. In fact, we talked about it in last week's podcast and we were speculating, well, we know Worlds is not that weekend. That was the only thing we knew, right? Worlds isn't going to be on 4th of July weekend. We really didn't.
Wrong.
Yeah, we really didn't know much more about that. I mean, anything was just speculation. But, you know, I've kind of mentioned this here, even in our local community. Sometimes you need people to stand in the gap for you. You find these gaps in the system, and somebody needs to stand in the gap in order for the system to continue to work, you know, the way you want it to work. You know, and PPG has stepped up and they're making an attempt to fill in the gaps. In fact, they're not just putting on an event. I don't know if you noticed about that event that they are opening it up for stores to partner with them and to create qualifying events in which your store would host. I don't have all the details, just going off of what I saw in the thing, where your store could host a qualifying event where the winner, the prize or whatever, is a first round bye in the main event tournament for that weekend. And so I know I'm going to talk with our local game store about it. And I've already put in feelers for our area here to find out how many people will be interested in attending that. And the response was pretty doggone good. You know, people, I'll be there. I'd love to come to that if there's a first round bye on the line for this event, you know. And so I think people are looking at this, while it's not a DLC, this is filling in that gap of a DLC for them. So, you know,
yeah.
But so
I think that it's a very positive announcement on PPG's part, and I think knowing what we know now about Worlds being the weekend before and Worlds not being open to the public, I think PPG is really trying to fill an extra gap.
Yes.
By, you know, having that sense of community and, you know, it being open, they're running multiple events.
Yes.
So, and I think it's going to be a good event. I just don't want to go to Texas in July. Did it last year. Don't want to do it again.
Yep. And I'm going to say, I told Sabrina this before we went online. So last week I talked a lot of junk about I'm not going to Texas. It's July. It's going to be hot. You know what I did this week? I applied to be a judge at that event. So I went back on my words. So I will face that now. I did that. Whether or not I get in, it's another matter, but go ahead.
If any of my close friends, my traveling friends reached out and were like, listen, we really want to go. Do you want to go? You could probably convince me. Like, I've looked at flights. I know
Yeah.
hotels aren't that expensive. I had some fun in Dallas. I just, like, I don't wanna go bad enough to, like, lead the charge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus,
See,
like, I have PTO stocked at work, and I'm hoping that we get DLCs this year, so that's where I'm like, I don't wanna let go of that PTO.
yeah, I don't. I'm kind of, Tuesday Ravensburger will do their thing, and I'm not sure what they're going to talk about, or what their announcement is going to be. I suspect they'll talk about Reign of Jafar. I suspect they were going to talk about Worlds because it looked like they intended to, and they may have more information for us regarding Worlds. I think the main thing that they were trying to do Thursday was to stop people from going and spending money on a hotel, because that was a disaster waiting to happen.
And I respect that. I respect that they were
Yeah,
like, "You know what? People are gonna go
absolutely.
spend buku bucks for this. Let's jump in front of it."
Absolutely. You're talking about like real time communication and problem solving. Like, you know what? While I found it a little bit funny, that they were struggling with their audio issues there, I respect the fact that they fought through that and came on to say, look, folks, hey, we're sorry. We did not intend for this information to get leaked, but it's out there. We can't stop it. We need to let you know something before you
Right.
go out and do something. It really wouldn't have been any fault of their own if they'd done it, but they came in and realized that people were starting to do this, I being one of them, and they intervened, and I'm grateful for it, for one. And so this is a start. I think I wouldn't say a start. It looks like it's a start of a change, hopefully. Now, it's like if
Hopefully,
somebody,
yeah.
yeah, if somebody's nice to you one time after being mean to you for years, you go, oh, he's finally going to start being nice to me. I don't know. you know,
Yeah, like, your
so,
guard is still up for
right.
sure.
Yeah.
I do feel for them, though, because I think there's a lot of disappointment surrounding the announcement, obviously.
Yeah.
And we will never get to see how they intended to make that announcement, because that opportunity got taken when it got spoiled, and now they are having to play, like,
Yeah. Valid point.
PR, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been interesting to see, like, they knew that people would be disappointed. How did they intend to present that without, how were they gonna soften that blow?
Yeah.
And they
That's,
didn't get to, because essentially they had to harden that blow and make it like, "Oh, a gut punch now."
yeah. That's
Like,
a
you
valid
got a
point.
little bit of excitement, let's deflate your balloon.
Maybe we'll get to see it. Maybe they'll just follow through with like, look, let's just go ahead. We'll go through with it the way we intended to go through with it. I think, like I said on Thursday, their main thing was, yes, this is the world's. It's only going to be closed. It's only going to be open to the competitors. Please don't buy a hotel room. End of stream. For the most part. I mean, they talked about some other things, the disappointment of leaks and all that. And I really like how they handled the leaks at the time. They were like, look, they're out there. They didn't sit there. They didn't ignore it. They just said it's disappointing, but what Greg said was, hey, look, I like his words, like, come listen on Tuesday, where we've got more than just a few grainy screenshots to show you, for the
Right.
most part, and so, I'm looking forward to it. I will be at work, and we'll have my headphones on, probably not getting much done. So, you know, I did say that for real. If y'all are watching at work, I will work. Don't worry. So,
I probably have some admin work I can do while I have that going in the background.
yeah. Yeah. So, I'm looking forward to Tuesday. In fact, so we have planned that we will probably come online that evening. I think we talked about that. After we both come home and get settled in for our days, and if you guys don't know it, Sabrina and I live way miles apart, right? So, but we're going to see what Ravensburger has to say, and then we're going to turn around, and when we settle in for the evenings, we were going to come on live and just kind of, just a hot podcast, I guess. Yeah, however long
First
it
thought.
takes us. Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm excited to learn more about this next set. Maybe see some cards. I mean, I really
oh,
hope we start to get some new characters in the mix. I think that'll be cool.
yeah. Let me. I some. So I haven't opened it yet. Hold on. show you this. So these
Oh.
got shipped recently. You see that? D23 gold membership kit.
Exciting.
I know there's a card in here. I haven't seen it yet from set 8. So hold on. I'm gonna open this. We'll look. This is a reveal on camera, right? Ooh, look at
Real
that.
time.
Nice magnet. Ooh. See if
That's nice.
everything's stuck together in here. Oh, what's that? Coupon book. Ooh, who doesn't like coupons?
That's so cute, though. I love Donald.
Oh, I'm official. Let's see here. I got a nice snazzy letter. All about my collectibles. Nobody wants to read that, right? Maybe I'll frame that. Look at that. Now you know how to spell my name. Kelcey, if you couldn't see it on the screen already. All right. Oh, here we go. Ooh, look at that. Oh. I've got somebody at my store that loves Stitch that might like that.
One of my close friends loves Stitch.
Oh, there we go. Can you see that, Sabrina?
Oh, a new Iago.
Yes.
Wow, that seems really good.
Hold on. Let me put this down. Oh, let me read it out for the folks that, well, one day we'll have an audio stream. All right, here we go. Iago. I'm going to see if I can read it on the screen while I hold it up. If I can get it to
You want me to read it while you hold it?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. It's a 4-cost inkable 3/3. You got to bring it a little closer. I can't read the glare. While you have another exerted character in play, this character can't be challenged.
Ooh,
and it quests for 2.
nice, nice. Yeah, and that's from set 8, actually. That's so you mentioned new cards for the set. That's the new card for set 8. So
I like that card. That seems good.
spoilers. So there we go. Spoiler season has started, right? Well, we already knew that one was coming anyways. Yeah, these came in the mail last week. I think I joined up in January.
Where did I go?
Oh, I lost you.
I fell off the face of the earth.
There we go. Woo! Technical difficulties. Are we back? Okay.
We're back.
Yeah, a little overexcited with my hand on the keyboard over here. So, yeah. So so we know Iago, new character in the set, and we're pretty sure there'll be lots of Jafar. And just in time for that, Zan goes and wins the tournament, bringing Jafar out of the dustbins. And
I can't stand Jafar. I can't stand Jafar.
Well, I think
I'm so not looking forward to how many are going to be out this set.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll get a few more. Hey, give me a green one. I need an emerald one, and that's good. I need anything emerald that's good. So
we just need good green cards or purple.
Right.
We could get some good purple ones too.
Yeah, and I
that
don't
weren't specifically purple steel.
Yeah, right. I don't want good green discard cards because I like playing a version of green amethyst emerald that's not discard. I don't mind discard. I mean, it wins, right? But it's not fun. It's not fun for me to play. It's not fun to play against it. I only play if I want to aggravate people, and that doesn't happen a lot.
I don't know. I think that can be fun to play. It's the items decks that I don't think are fun to play. Like, I feel like I'm playing solitaire.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Yeah, can't get into them. I remember when they were really, really good a couple sets ago. Like, they were just the top deck. And I was like, fine. Like, you either die the hero where you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, right? I was like, so I'm just going to become the villain. I'm going to do it. And I sat down with Toby and I play tested it once and I looked at him and I was like, yep, nope, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not doing this. This is horrible. This isn't fun.
I played around with I think somebody finished in third place in a big event, and I saw their deck, and it was a Ruby Sapphire deck built around items, and I was like, okay, let me just see it, and I got it, and it took me about 2 games to work out my understanding of it, the way it really works. Anybody can look at a deck list and think they understand it, right? But then when you sit down and you play it, you go, oh yeah, this card's a little bit better than what I thought. Man, you drop Maurice's workshop and you start dropping a bunch of 1-drop items. and you got 2 more Reese's Workshop in play, or maybe even 3, and a fishbone quill and a sapphire coil, man, I was funneling through my deck like you wouldn't believe, and popping creatures off the board. And I was like, my mind just started going, ooh, what can I do with this? So we'll find out. That
Remember
might be.
Sapphire Steel build? Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
There was a Sapphire Steel build with Cogsworth and Sad Beast.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember every time I played against Cogsworth, it felt like the best card ever. Like I couldn't beat it.
Hmm.
And every time I played Cogsworth, I was like, this card is trash.
Yeah. He just sits there. He doesn't do anything for me.
He does nothing.
Yeah.
It used to drive me nuts.
Yeah.
So I was like, I feel like I can't win. If I play against him, I'm annoyed. If I play him, I'm annoyed. Like,
It's funny you say that, because I used to say Cogsworth is the best card that everybody else plays.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, it's especially 2 of them hit the board, and you're like, oh, good gracious.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Let's
sit
just go
here
to the
now. I
next
can't
game.
do anything.
Yeah, let's go to the next game.
The
So,
worst.
no, so speaking of the new set, so we know Jafar's coming out. We've seen Iago. I'm not. I didn't even look at the leaks that came out, and I don't know. All I saw was the world's announcement. To be honest with you, that's all I cared about, because I figure I look at the leaks when we get clearer images of them on Tuesday. But anyway, so I'm speculating. We want to talk about like things we hope to see. Definitely want to see some better green cards. I need our emerald cards. I'm gonna work on emerald, not green, emerald.
Yes, I should work on that too.
Yeah. We know Pixar's not coming until the next group of stuff, 2026. So there's none of that. I thought I heard a rumor of something else new coming in here. What was it? New franchise.
Thought there was a new movie.
Bambi. Bambi, maybe.
Yeah, Bambi.
Bambi. Yeah. I think that was the new ones that were coming in.
Which will be exciting.
So we're gonna have like a banished chosen character that has Bambi's mom getting shot on it or something. Is that?
Oh my god, that's dark.
And hey, it's part of the movie, right? It's real. So
I wish that we would get like there's so like Winnie the Pooh, right? Why can't we get a good owl? Owl is underrepresented and it makes me so sad.
yeah.
We got like 12 Tiggers and 1 owl that is vanilla and unplayable.
Well, honestly, outside of Piglet, like none of the Pooh characters really see any play in any meta decks. I mean, it just.
I agree, but I'm an owl fan over here, so I'm just repping my
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
This game seems to really like birds.
All right, Ravensburger, you heard this now. We know Brendan DeCandio designs cards. I don't know many of the others by name, but we need a good owl. Okay.
Need an owl.
We need a good owl. So, yeah.
It's like my pitch list.
Was it? Yeah. Now it'd be nice to, I often wonder that too. Like sometimes I see cards, you see cards like Diablo, incredibly powerful cards, but like this minor character, you're like
them.
Yeah. Like, what are they waiting for? Give me an overpowered Elsa that I can actually play, that everybody wants to ban. I guess if they're screaming ban Elsa, none of the young ladies will like that. So, but so
like there's some songs or like pieces of songs that are like underrepresented too.
Yeah. So this week I played, I was messing around with a song deck, Amethyst Amber song deck, just messing around, having fun with it. I really killed my rating on Lorcanito with it, but I had fun. And so, I was playing around, but I forgot how good Sleepy's Flute was at one point. And
yeah, that was a huge topic of mine going into Vegas, was whether or not I played flutes or harps.
Yeah, I think flutes are really good. So especially if you got more than one down on the board. But one of the songs that I played was, and I almost used it for the card tonight for you, was "This Is My Family." It was Two Cost Uninkable song, just gain a lower draw card, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't remember this song from the movie. And so I'm sure that it's in the movie. I've seen the movie once. I need to watch it again.
What's it
You
called?
know,
Encanto?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's on
I
my rewatch list because I
yeah,
watched it.
same here.
I liked it, but nobody that I was with liked it.
Uh, yeah.
I'm like, I think I need to watch it again.
Well, in all fairness, you know, and I can think this game for this is that there are so many things that I didn't know. Like I'd never seen Big Hero 6 until they released them for the set, you know. And so I went and watched that movie, you know, and then there were a couple other movies that I hadn't seen yet that I've actually gone to watch because of this game as well too. So to familiarize myself with them, with the characters. I'm like, who's this character? He's from this movie? I haven't seen this movie. Went back and watched Hercules because the last time I watched it was like the 90s when it came out.
Toby
So,
and I had actually gotten into a kick it was a few, probably almost a year ago, actually,
mhm.
where there were all of his like favorite Disney childhood movies were like Treasure Planet and all of these movies I'd never heard of, but they were getting printed
Yeah.
in Lorcana. So he was like, I'm gonna make you watch these. And I was like, okay. So we watched Treasure Planet, we watched what is that one called?
Atlantis?
It's not called, is it called Atlantis? I thought it had a longer title, but
I
yeah,
don't
that
know what
one.
it is.
We
I haven't
watched
watched it yet.
Hercules. And they were all good, but like they were not my I was not a Disney child growing up as far as media. I was much more of a Nickelodeon child. But
Need
I
all
went to
that card
Disney
game.
like every year. So it was a weird like crossover for me. Like the movies that I knew were the ones with characters that I was like actively seeing. If it flew under the radar of like the mainstream Disney, I didn't watch it.
Uh, yeah, I did the Disney animated, you know, okay, so you can look at the gray into how old I am, right? So I I recall as a teenager, you know, when the first in the series of the animated movies came out that really started the rejuvenation of Disney as far as animated full length features. You know, the first one I think was Beauty and the Beast, and
Mm.
then Aladdin, and then Lion King. And I remember those three. I think Hunchback of Notre Dame was after that. And then after that, I kind of lost track of them. You know, but
I didn't work on it either, is he?
who's that? Hunchback?
The
No,
Hunchback.
no, no, I don't think so. I'm wondering if any of the side characters are in there at all. But
Something told me Esmeralda was, but I might be wrong.
yeah, I don't recall Esmeralda at all. Uh, But you know, so I remember the like going to the theater to see these because most of the Disney movies we had ever seen as kids were on VHS tapes, and if you guys don't know what those are, Google it. So, uh, you know, but anyways, you know, we never really got to go see them in the theaters because there was this long gap of movies. I think The Rescuers, I saw that in the theater as a wee
I
tot.
love The Rescuers. The
My
Rescuers
mom
is one of
loved
my
that one.
favorites.
Yeah. I was so happy when the penny card was made this last set. So,
Yes, I
yeah.
love The Rescuers so
So,
much.
I need Evan Rude, the dragonfly.
Yes.
That's what I need. That's a good green card right there.
There
Emerald
you
card.
go. That would be such a he would have to have evasive too.
Yes.
He would
Yes.
be so
Yes.
good.
Yes. Yeah. I'll take that. 2 cost, evasive, uninkable, 0-1, quest for 3. I'll take that.
That's broken.
No, it's not. So, as long as Let the Storm Rage on is in this game, it's not broken. And it's a turn 2 play. It's a turn 2 play, so you'll get Brawl on turn 3 if you're on a draw.
Oh my god, Brawl makes me
Or
just question
Sisu.
every single aggro deck I ever play.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what Kick Cloud Kicker does too. So
Yeah, but at least I can get that back.
yeah,
It's going back to my hand. Brawl is just like, bye.
yeah. See ya. Peace. That's what I hate. I hate when I get like little Sisu'd. I'm like, really? I
Oh,
walked
it
into
feels
that.
so
I
bad.
know. I walked into that. That card can seem so powerful, but then when you stare at it on the board after they've done it, you go, I can't believe I lost to that weak stuff.
Oh man, red is just like so hard to deal with, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because I like aggro decks, and I feel like red is just like anti-aggro.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, all of your little like weenie characters, we're just gonna make them disappear.
Die, die, die.
Like, go
Banish,
away.
banish, banish. Sorry, banish. So, yeah,
So bad.
yeah. And it's funny you say that. I've been thinking about like aggro, like why is aggro so successful? And it's because like you can't, when they get the tempo, right? And they quest and they get to a certain point, they don't need their stuff to hang around. They just need it to do, get one quest out of it, die, banish, and then replace it with another one. And that's why
Yeah.
I think, red and steel usually, or ruby and steel are so successful against aggro, is because they can take care of that character when it hits the board before it can quest. That's really what stops it dead in the tracks. So I've been like running through my head, how do I do that? Problem is you can't really do that too well the first 2-3 turns of the game, and that's usually where a lot of their tempo gets established, and
Yeah.
so
And that's where aggro, like, if you are playing an aggro deck, those first 3 turns are arguably the most important too.
yeah.
Like, you need to be able to drop all of your guys and get going.
My new answer to Daisy is a 3-card combo. It's just unreasonable. I mean, I have answers to Daisy anyways, but I'm always looking for new answers, right? It's just to drop Chernobog on turn 1, let them quest, and then on turn 2, I can either drop Meg, and do +2 to Chernobog, or what I want to do is drop a lady and then a tramp, you know, on turn
Yeah.
2, and yeah, but I don't think I'll ever put those
I
cards in my
played
deck. Tramp maybe, but
I played Chernadogs yesterday for the first
that's a
time.
fun deck.
That deck is so much more thinky than I thought it was when I picked it up. Like, I was like, "Oh, this is an aggro deck." And then I played it and I was like,
No,
"This
no,
is
no.
not a straight aggro deck."
So this is what I've learned for it. It may be incorrect. I haven't watched any videos of anybody playing it, but I played it too after that guy won the Ravensburg tournament with it. Is I mulligan for the tramp card. It's like I gotta have him with a bunch of 1-drops. I don't care what else I have. Maybe a Rapunzel, because you're gonna run out of gas real fast. And with him, turn 4 is probably a reasonable turn that you're going to drop him. And, if you got enough critters on the board, you might be able to find your Chernobog and, be able to drop that on, next couple turns. So, especially if you quest with your stuff and they banish it, you know.
I feel like the mulligan for it is very similar to your aggro mulligan, where like I don't care how many 1-drops are in my hand, I'm keeping them all.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think that's where it ends. Like, you
Yeah.
are almost better off you are better off in a lot of times letting the stuff sit until you can get out the tramp and then going from there. But it was just a timing thing that I was not getting down yesterday, which is what brought me back to I have no idea what I want to play for set champs.
Yeah. 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 I have an idea. I don't know if I'm going to say online because I'm going there this weekend and some of those folks might be listening. So,
Yeah, of course. No.
yeah.
I've
I have
played
2
3
options.
decks this time, so it'll probably be one of them. I don't think I'm gonna audible to like blue red or something. That would shock everyone though.
Yeah, why not? If you can play it, play it. Right.
Yeah,
So, hey, we have a chat. Somebody dropped a comment in chat. It was probably from about 5-10 minutes ago because it's talking about Treasure Planet. But Frosty the Champ says Treasure Planet was ahead of its time. So, I tried
that's
watching
what
it,
Toby would say.
and I don't say that in a bad way. I don't know what happened, but when you have a little one around that's not interested in the movie, I have a lot of unfinished movies. So, yeah.
Yeah. I
So,
will say we were talking about, Lorcana getting you into watching more of the Disney movies. On top of that, my nephew is 17 months old,
Mm-hmm.
about to be 18 months. So he's very much in like a Disney phase, but he really can only pay attention to Moana. We can kind of get him into Frozen if we sing animatedly enough with it,
uh-huh.
but really he just wants Moana all the time.
It's the Lin-Manuel Miranda songs. Like I can listen to that dude's music like all day long, it seems like.
I
So,
agree. I agree. It's actually
yeah.
funny because I used to work in a preschool and there was a baby when I worked there that would only calm down if I sang How Far I'll Go,
Mm-hmm.
which the only reason that I know the words to that song is because I would sing it to him. And my nephew is the same way. So I like that song is on my most played on my phone because it's like the soothing song. It's just so funny. But yeah, I've been trying to get him to branch out, but it's not
It's
working. It's not
funny you
working.
mentioned that song because this is a recommendation I have for Ravensburger. So I don't know what their play testing is like at all. I'm sure they do their due diligence, but if you're going to have How Far I Go, could we not have a Moana 4-drop character instead of Grandma Tala to sing it for us? So, so just
Well,
saying.
Grandma Tala sings the reprise,
Does
doesn't
she?
she?
Does she sing the
Uh,
reprise? Ah, okay.
thought so.
Well, there we go. So maybe they did do what they needed. And maybe that's an R&D thing? Is that more or less? I don't know how it
We can
goes.
be
So
lacking some flavor occasionally.
yeah,
I'm
I,
looking at the soundtrack now.
I'm trying to think like, when you have card companies, you have a certain part that's like they make the cards I was going to say a word that didn't exist. Regardless, they basically they're more concerned about the game and the gameplay and the mechanics of the game and testing out cards. You have ideas for cards. They don't worry about, is this Moana? Is this Goofy? Is this, whatever. They're making the
Right.
cards. And then you have that's passed on to another department that goes and says, okay, now we're going to create the story of this. This is this character. This is a great card for this character, this, and things like that. So, I know. All right, I'm just going to say it. In that game that shall not be named, their head of development, Mark Rosewater, used to put out articles a lot that really would explain the inner workings of how the development process worked for that game and then the different interactions from the different departments. I always found that fascinating. And I'd be curious as to how Ravensburger is set up, how that works with them. There we go. That's a topic for future podcasts right there.
I mean, maybe that's something they'll give us as they start. I mean, it seems like they're very dedicated to changing their communication.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see
Yeah.
getting that down the line. I did check. I was wrong. The grandma does not sing the reprise. She sings
Okay.
the Song of the Ancestors, I think.
Okay. All right.
So yes, we do need a blue 4-drop Moana.
Yes. That's playable. They could just replace. I don't know that anybody will replace Grandma Tala in with blue decks anymore. Why don't just do it? A reprint of Grandma Tala and just name it Moana.
But name a Moana.
Yeah.
Just like duct tape over it.
3/3, 3/3. 4-cost inkable. Look at the top 2 cards of your. And they can even change the wording if they want. Instead of saying you may, put one in your hand and one on the bottom, say you may put one in the bottom and one in your hand. Just reorder it or something. I don't know.
Sure.
It's functionally the same, right? So,
or just make it a 4-drop ramp card. Blue loves ramp.
Yeah, like they need more.
I know.
So,
Things blue doesn't need more.
Actually,
ramp.
There's 3, 1, 2, 4 in the lifetime of the game. Outside of banishing something and banishing something to the inkwell, there's only really been 4 cards. Well, I would say 5 because in set 1, the Grandma Tala saw play for a while.
Yeah.
The one that when she got banished, she went to your inkwell.
Detective Mickey.
Tipo, Mickey, 1 jump. And then
1 jump. Yeah.
Now we got Sail the Azurite Sea.
Sail. There's another one that's in play right now too, isn't there? Doesn't
well, Fishbone Quill, it's
Fishbone.
So yeah,
and there was another item, the dragon
Heart of Dragon. And then there's Tafiki's Heart. Tafiki's Heart?
Yeah.
I need it. You know what? I need to have a section, a spot on this stream. You know how we do the card where we look at the rules, and see if we figure out the name of the card. So, yeah, I struggle with the names more than I do the rules on the card. So, yeah. So yeah, for set champs this week, I think you know, the great thing about it, and I'm really enjoying this, is while I may face green steel, and I suspect that where I'm going there will be at least one, is that I'm not going to face 12 green steels probably. You know, in other words, it's a wide open meta, and that's what I'm appreciative of right now, and it also makes for hard deck choice. You know,
Yeah, it's definitely fun to see how many decks are out right now. And I mean, I play pretty frequently with the same core group of people. We have a group of people that will travel to like all the same set champs and things
mm-hmm.
like that. This month for sure, because one of our locals is throwing their set champ on my birthday. So
Ooh,
I've
nice.
made all of my friends sign up to go to it.
You got to get pictures and you got to bring them back. In fact, that's something we need to do is take pictures of our set champs, you know,
For sure. Oh, I'm buying like Mickey
adventures.
birthday
Yeah.
gears. I'm doing a whole thing.
Okay, cool.
We
Cool.
themed it the birthday bash.
All
So
right.
there will be pictures. But it's cool because a lot of them I've seen play basically the same deck through 6 sets.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them are like switching it up pretty significantly now, which is cool to see that like the meta is so open. People are playing so many different styles, and even the decks that exist, there are pretty significant variants of.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was something I think we were lacking for a while.
Yeah. I love Emerald Amethyst. It fits my play style, it fits my personality, and I want that so bad. And that might be what I end up doing. I'm just not saying, you know, but I got some kinks I'm working out in it. But you know, I've got 3 decks. 2 of them I'm like wishy-washy on, you know, and then I got a third one in my back pocket. So you know, I'll make a decision come
Well, I
Wednesday.
feel.
Yeah, I'll make a decision come Wednesday. Because the first set champ, I'm only going to play. I'm going to go play in the one that I, you know, it's a store that's about an hour from me, an hour and well, Saturday during the summer it'll be 2 hours from me because of beach traffic. But you know, I'm going to go there and play. I won the set championship when I was there last time with Emerald Amethyst, and so I really like the people there. They come our way to play, and so I only feel it's right that I show up and let them beat the championship mat out of me this time. So
You got to defend the title.
that's right. Out of respect, you got to respect the place, right? You can't just waltz in there, take something, and never show back up. So,
No, I
you
like
know,
it. I respect it.
you know, so I respect them enough that I will go and take my beating from them this time around. You know, and I thoroughly expect to get beat down. I feel like I will not make the top 8, and therefore I am planning on playing another set champ at the end of the. So I just want to play one just to get one copy of each of the promos. You know, so
That's fair. I'm enrolled for 2, considering a third, but definitely not going as hard as I did for like the Ursula one.
yeah,
Truthfully,
same
that's
here.
the last time I went like pretty hard for one because I wanted that mat so bad.
Did you get it?
Not the champ one, but I did get second place at
Oh,
both of
nice,
them.
nice, nice. I got one mat. And that was the scar I got from the last one here. I got a couple stitches. Ursula, I didn't do too well in Ursula. I was in a funk at that time. That was not a
I
good
was
Lorcana time for me.
I was really grinding games for the Ursula one,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew what I was playing, and I was like tunnel visioned on the goal.
What were you playing?
It was green, but I don't remember if it was green steel or green purple, if I'm going to be
Green
honest with
steel,
you.
probably.
I think it was green steel. I don't
Yeah.
know, because green purple is my like default deck.
Green steel was kind of fun to play before discard, like when you were just trying to figure out the aggro discard, because that's what I took to Atlanta. Well, no, I was going to take to Atlanta, and then I went with Emerald Amethyst. My friend took Green Steel, Emerald Steel.
I took, I
Did
don't
well.
remember what I took Atlanta.
It's all a
I know
blur.
what I took to Dallas because I gave Bucky his last ride in Dallas.
That's
And
funny.
then and I know what I took to Vegas because it made me rage quit Lorcana.
Yeah. That's funny.
And I don't remember other than that.
So when you guys go around, like your group that goes around to the different stores, do you guys know the folks in those other stores? Do they come around to your stores and stuff? Or are you guys just kind of going in like bandits and like, raiding the store and, taking off with their goods and
So
leaving? Or,
no, so there's a store that we go to up in Barnegat, Trotta's Hobbies. They are who I consider my local. They're not the closest, but they are the closest to feeling like home. Um, there's a group of us that pretty consistently go there. And then if you go up towards Philly in the Glassboro area, there's the comic book store,
mm-hmm,
which I would go to as a local, but it's like 50 minutes away, so it's just a little bit far to do like weekly.
mm-hmm,
And there's a core group that goes there. Then between those two core groups, there's another store out a little bit that combination of people go to. So like it's kind of like you get some of this group and some of this group and some of this group, and then we all go to the set champs.
yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's the thing. Like our area is spread out. Like if you could make a diamond, right, or flat diamond and turn it sideways, you got one town to the east, one town to the west, and then two of us kind of north and south in the middle. And we kind of form this core group for our area. They're the ones who show up. We travel to each other's set championships quite a bit. And when we do they'll be the core folks for when if we can get this qualifying event off the ground, that they would be the core folks, that would participate in that. And that's one thing that, when I was talking earlier in the podcast, like, find something you can do locally. That's one thing I like to challenge folks with is like find these patches in these different stores. And rather than just go to a store and go play, which you should do that, right? Is talk to everybody and say, hey, let's all get together and have a big event for our area. And that's one thing, like when I talk about filling in the gap earlier, like PPG's way up on the regional level, filling those gaps in. But like
Mm-hmm.
we on the local level, there's like your local game store. That's like, local. Then you branch out and like, now I'm an hour in each direction and I can pull all these folks in, and then now we got this group here. Now let's pull in bigger groups like that. And I think that's the way you really build that whole play system up, but it's going to take folks at a local level like you and I, when we go to these places and say, hey, what do you guys think about if we got together? In fact, that's what we did. I reached out and I said, hey, we did an Emerald Coast Challenge. And, we crowned the first Grand Illuminaire of the Emerald Coast, and we did that. And so now we're looking at, now it's time for round two, and I think that'd be cool. Like if we could start getting folks to do more and more of that, banding your communities together. And like, it's kind of like, you have this pride, right? It's like, I want to be the best in this area. Well, you can't be the best in this area if you don't beat everybody in this area. If we can't get everybody in this area together to do it. So that's one thing I'd like to do here. I'd like to see a lot of folks doing around the US,
I would
So,
also think that in order to build up your community, it's really important to build up those relationships.
yeah,
So I'd say like, when you go to these events, take the time to like get to know the people around you,
absolutely.
introduce yourself to the people around you. Like I think that's been a really big part of it too, because I know like there's a girl in our one of our friends, Sam, she's actually co-host on the Illumination podcast. She is super organized about set champs. So
Hmm.
when I was looking for a list the other day, I'm like, Sam, I need to know what you got. And she sent me over this like calendar list of them. And then I had my friends that were like, Sabrina, you always know when are the set champs. And I was like, hold on. I go to Sam's list and copy it and send it over. So it's like,
Yeah,
and there are two groups of people that are not related, have only met at these events,
that's
but
cool.
like because we build those
Hmm.
relationships and have those
Absolutely.
conversations and we would all rather go to a set champ that more of us were at than go to one that we don't know anybody.
Right. That's
So
awesome to hear.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my little 2 cents about this. Foster the relationships.
Yeah, we do this too. We have somebody that does that, and then that's a key thing too. Like I wouldn't go play at those places if I had not built relationships with those people. In fact, I went there to play last time because I asked my friends, "Hey, you want to go to this other store and play?" I said, "I'd like to go see, Gunner and a couple of those guys that are over there, just to hang out with them for a little bit." And we went. It was because we had established those relationships, and that's what's important about it. So.
That's what happened when we went to the encounter event a couple weeks ago. It turned out that our friends Sam and Max wanted Toby and I to go, and Toby wasn't up to going, but I was like, "Well, I'll go if I can ride up with you guys." And they were like, "Okay." And then I turned to my other friend and I was like, "Jake, you should go." And he's like, "Well, I don't want to ride up alone." I'm like, "Great, then I'll ride up with you instead." And then I turned to my other friends and I'm like, "You guys should go too." And our friend Steve's like, "Well, if you can convince Deb to go, then I'll go." And I was like, "Great, Deb, come here." And next thing I know, there's like 6 of us that are all going up. And that's how it is. I mean, we joke that it's peer pressure because it is a little bit, but it's better for all of us. We all get more practice, we all get to spend more time together. And when it comes to set champs, we have like a tradition. So like after the set champs, you all go out to dinner. Traditionally
Cool.
Mexican food for our friend Josh. I don't know why, but I've only ever eaten out with him if we were eating at a Mexican place. It's like the most bizarre thing. It's become a joke at this point. But yeah, so that's like it's a whole thing for us, and because we built those relationships and that connection. And I would advise the people in the community to take the time and build those relationships.
The guys I go with are fitness freaks. They don't eat anything. So
Lame. We
yeah.
have one of those in our group
Right.
too, though. And when he's with us, he's like, "Man, you guys eat good." I'm like, "Yes, yes, we do."
So, well,
He's like, "I got to go to the gym." I'm like, "Have fun."
so for this weekend, if you play something green, here's where I'm gonna put you on the spot, right? So I got a green card. I already warned you about this. This is our card for the week. All right. So you ready for it?
Hmm.
Here we go. All right. Do you remember Tinkerbell from set one?
Oh, she's
Okay.
evasive.
Okay, hold on. That's good. Wait a minute. There's 3 parts to her that you got to figure out here.
Play
Okay.
this card.
All right. So this is Tinkerbell, most helpful. She's 2/3 Emerald card from set one, 4 cost inkable. Now, you're correct. She is evasive. That's one of the 3 things in her rules text. So the other one is her lore. How much does she quest for?
2.
Good, good, good. Now, there's one other aspect to her rules that most people overlook. They
It's an
completely
ETB
forget about.
trigger.
What's that?
It's an ETB, right? When she
Yes,
enters.
yes.
Does she give something else evasive until end of turn?
Oh, Sabrina, excellent job. You did it.
Told you I used to play this one. I knew
There you
this
go.
one.
So I'm throwing this out there because if you're playing Emerald, this is a great card to give a fox evasive. People just don't see it coming, or crab, give something evasive. And then she's hanging around questing for 2. I honestly, until Genie came along, this was in the 4 spot of my Emerald Amethyst deck. And
This
even
was a
now,
staple.
yeah, even now I still run 2 copies of her for the most part. And it surprises a lot of folks because I'll have a whole board of no evasives and they'll feel comfortable putting that Genie on the board or whatever, that shark. Now all of a sudden I've got something that I've given evasive to and they don't see it coming, And so, yeah, it's nice. It's a trap card.
It's a good card. I
Yeah.
missed this one.
Yeah. I love this card. So I actually got I'll tell a story about it one day. This is the one I got Kawa to sign for me because I told him I associate different cards with different players in the game, and I'm not saying anything about Tinkerbell and Kawa being Tinkerbell, anything like that. It's just at the time and the way I was feeling about this card, and liking the card and stuff is the one that got associated with him in Toronto. So yeah, but
Do you associate me with a card?
not yet. It's coming.
All right. I'm gonna try to influence the decision.
Yeah, yeah. Give me a couple more shows. I'll have it.
All right. I'm gonna hold you to
So
it.
sometimes it's natural. It just pops, and then sometimes I just got no, no, no. So
That's
you
how
know.
I feel with people about flavors. This is like a random side tangent.
Oh,
One of my best friends when she was pregnant was obsessed with the cookies and cream cake pop from Starbucks and the cookies and cream frappuccino. And as a result, I now associate her with cookies and cream.
nice.
So anytime I see anything cookies and cream, I'm like, Jackie.
Yeah,
And the other day she goes, I don't really like cookies and cream that much. And I was like, oh my God.
that's funny. I associate people with music songs. Like I'll hear a song come on, and I have somebody I associate this song with, and so it's really
Oh
good
yeah.
because it helps me a lot. Just remember a lot of folks and stuff like that. So you know,
I do the same thing with that too. Yeah.
well,
We're association people.
we actually hit our hour block today. We like to keep it to an hour. Before we go, we want to give a shout out to Matified. Again, they don't sponsor us, but we sponsor them because they're great. Craig does a great job with these mats. You've probably seen them at many of the DLCs. But you can visit their website, www.matified.com. Check out their mats, and see if there's anything that you can hit them up for. But anyways, they're great, and so can't recommend them enough. So yeah, matified.com. So Sabrina, thank you. So
Yeah, thank you.
appreciate
We'll
it.
see you guys Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. Don't forget Tuesday. Do we have a time?
Whatever time you throw out that's after 6:30 my time, I'm good with.
Hold on, I gotta think. Man,
That's
sometimes
5:30 your time.
yeah. Well, so Tuesday. Oh wow. I don't even know. So Tuesdays when I go and play at my local store from 4 to 7. However, I'm just going to say this on the air, and I probably shouldn't. I'm single dadding it this week, so I may not be playing. I got to get a little one down, so I'm going to say 9 o'clock your time might be 9 o'clock Eastern might be too late. Is that too late?
No, I can do that because we don't have to do an hour. We can just
Yeah,
wing it. That's good.
yeah, we do a quick 30-minute hit as just a recap of the Robbins Burger announcement. Although we save some for Sunday, right? But you want to be fresh off the press, right? So join us back here on Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. We'll recap the announcement from Robbins Burger on that date, and hopefully it'll be. I'm pretty sure there'll be some exciting things. We've dealt with the disappointment of the world's announcement. It is what it is. It's in the past. We move on. This game is a great game. This community is a great community. We each have our role to play in it. And so I just would challenge you this week to find that role for you and keep building this community. So until Tuesday, we'll see you then, and happy questing.
Bye, guys.